Okay, everybody, welcome back to Agoge Game Academy. Welcome back to AGA, that is.
That's right.
Today we're going to be talking about the 11, well, we're going to be talking about 7 of the 11 best board games to play with non-gamer type friends.
And if you do want to see the rest of the 11, like Nathan was saying.
The other 4, whatever it is.
Yeah, go to our website. You can just type in AGA 11 of the best board games to play with non-gamer friends, and it will pop up.
Yeah, you can just Google that.
Yep.
We'll also put it down here below so you guys can see
link.
it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. We're going to talk about 7 of the 11 today. The first one we're going to talk about is Bananagrams. So Bananagrams is one.
Love Bananagrams.
Bananagrams was one that I, for years probably, saw people playing. I was like,
I don't want to play
weird shaped banana package,
you.
which we'll roll in here. I don't want to play that stupid game.
Our mom loves this game.
And she actually does, yeah.
Did not want to.
No, thank you. It's so fun. I'm like, I'll play a fun game. No thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Then finally, somebody twisted my arm at some point and made me play. Mm-hmm. And then we probably sat and played for 3 hours straight at that point, and then have played hundreds of times since.
Absolutely.
And so in essence, in Bananagrams, what's happening is you do get a banana shaped pouch, but when you pour it out, it's all these tiny little tiles, and on each tile is a letter. And everyone, you kind of mix them up face down, so the letters are face down.
Pick 20
Depending on how many players, let's say you take 20, and then you say go, everyone flips them over, and then you try to make this kind of web, almost
make the...
What do you call it? The crossword puzzle, right? You start to make these webs of words, like you make a big word across, and then you try to connect it down, and they all have to connect in some way.
So it's basically like Scrabble, but only with your own...
Yeah, okay, that's a better way to say it.
With your own...
what letters? You're on your own board,
your own board, exactly, in
board.
front of you. And so once, let's say we get 20 tiles, okay, we make all the letters work into words, and they have to be real words. Let's not try to do that making up words as you go. No, it has to be real dictionary words, right?
They have to be in the
on your own board. And then as soon as you do, what is the magic word?
Peel.
Peel. You pull another one, and then now you have to make that new letter fit into your own board.
Which often means you have to rearrange and get rid of a word you thought was so fantastic, and then rework that letter in. And sometimes you pick up a V and you're like, crap, what do I do with this stupid V? And how do I work it in? And so
you can't move on. Well, personally, you can't say peel until you get that letter in. But if I pick up a V or an X, like Nathan said, and I'm trying to make it into my own board, but Nathan picks up an S and just puts it on the end of something, gives or whatever,
give to gives or whatever.
Exactly. Then he can say peel, grab another one, and we
all grab one, even me.
Yep, we all have to grab one, and so now I have an X and something else, whatever I just picked up that I now need to make fit into my board before I can.
Right, and so there are times where people are picking up a letter, working it in, working it in constantly, really fast. Yep. And then if you're the one not peeling, you've got these 10 letters, and now you're trying to work them in. I will say though, once you get buried enough, it actually helps because you have enough letters at your disposal to rearrange everything. But you keep doing that. That whole process keeps going until you've exhausted the entire stack. And once there's not enough letters for everyone to pick up a new one, then whoever works the last letter in first wins the game.
Gets to yell, Bananagrams! And they are the winner.
Over. And so if you, even if you're peeling the whole time, you're grabbing them, and you're leading the whole thing, but somebody beats you to that last letter, you don't win, they win, and you gotta start over. And so it's one of those real-time ones where everyone's playing at the same time and everyone's doing it, and it's this race. It's just a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
And simple. It's so simple. It takes maybe 5 minutes to go through one of these games, 10 at most.
At most. Yeah.
And so it's honestly, for me, it's exercising your mind, because okay, what word can I make this better than that, uses these letters?
Yep.
And so it's a fun one.
So I think it's a lot better than Scrabble because of the different mechanics of Bananagrams, where you're picking up the tiles,
the new letters,
and you can wipe the whole board, your whole board, and start over with different words just to make the letters work together. And so
totally.
100% it is way better than Scrabble.
Yep.
In every aspect.
I agree. So it's a good game. Definitely go check it out. And it's not very expensive, which is all that much better.
Yep, not at all.
Okay, let's get on to the second one. The second one is Codenames, probably another one you've heard of, and actually happens to be another word game.
It is.
Right? So in code names, it's a grid of 5 by 5, like tiny little cards, and each card has a word on it. And you have a grid of 5 words across and 5 words down, so there's 25 total cards. And then at the beginning of the game, you're split into 2 teams, and then you have really 2 kind of lead code givers that are looking at a key. And I'm looking at it, and I see, okay, I have these 7 words assigned to me, or 8 assigned to me, and he's got another 8 or 9 assigned to him. And I have to communicate in 1-word clues to my team that, oh, these 5 words are ours, but I can only use 1 word, and I can't use the words that are there. So if my words are shell and slow, maybe I say, turtle, 2 words, turtle. And they're like, shell, definitely shell's got to be one of them. And slow,
because
that's
got
to be it.
Yep.
But if also on there is, what's another? Snail, that's a great one. Snail's on there, but that's not my word. Then, and they choose, it's got to be definitely slow and shell, it's snail for sure. Now, maybe that's the forbidden word. There's 1 word that's an assassin, and if they choose that word and it's snail, then we automatically lose the game.
Or it could be my team's word,
and I've just
just helped me.
And then the other option would be that it's nobody's word. It's just a word out there.
It's just a normal
and it doesn't help, doesn't
word,
hurt.
yeah.
But point being is I'm trying to communicate the clues to my team of what words are ours. He's trying to do it to his, and whoever does it fastest wins.
Mm-hmm.
And what I find so unique about this game, you'll have to tell me what you think, but what I like so much, not even unique, but what I like so much about this game is that it's a big party game that any number of players can play. So if you have 20 people there, technically you can get them to play as long as they can see the words and hear the clues.
Split them in half, split them in half as long as they can all see the words. I mean, there's been times where we were at a party where someone's cooking, someone's in the middle of cooking, and they're still coming back, looking and saying, what was the clue? Okay. And then, putting in their input. So it's not like you have to sit down and devote your undivided attention to this game.
Which is
you
another
can be
awesome
in
aspect.
And out, and exactly, and that's what I would say is the unique aspect for me, is how you don't need to be devoted to the game, but you can still participate in it.
And similarly to that, it's not a hard game generally, and so anyone can hop in, unless you're the clue givers, where it's kind of hard to come up with clues that are 1 word that work with. That's kind of hard. So you'd have somebody who's already played do those. But everybody else can just sit there. What do I think that he said? What do you think, team? You know what I mean? It's like it's very low pressure. It's not hard to do, and it's just a really fun game. It won Board Game of the Year in 2016, I believe, and so you can verify that. 2016, and so there's a reason that it's so popular is because it's so widespread and so easy, and so it's a great game, and so we highly recommend that one. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which is actually one of your favorite.
It is one of my favorite
ones.
I love it
on this list, I think.
Yep. And that is Big Money. So this game, in my opinion, is one of the best games to play with non-gamer friends, and it is because of how simple it is, and how really there's no strategy to it.
There is some strategy, but it's
not
more
much.
luck-based.
It's very, very luck-based
compared to all these others.
Yeah, because of the fact that of you just buying stock and hoping that the dice will eventually hit it.
Right. There's some strategy, sure, but the core mechanic of the game is rolling dice, kind of like Yahtzee, depending on what you get. If you can get a Yahtzee, then you get more points.
Exactly.
And then you can buy money or collect money and then buy some stocks or other types of investments. And so there is definitely strategy to it, because depending on what you choose will determine how much you make.
Exactly.
But it's definitely not as strategy based as some of the other games on this list or any of the other lists we've done in the past that you guys see on our channel. And so
but I mean, we have played it with people who are non-gamer, who don't like board games, and they did enjoy this game because of just how simple it is, and they didn't need to put too much thought into understanding it or even much strategy. They're just like, I want this one, and then they would pick it, buy it, and then roll, and yay if they got it, or dang it.
It's just low key because it's luck based. It's low key, so nobody's like, oh my gosh, it's all riding on my shoulders. And that's probably why it's so good, is because there's less luck, and therefore, or there's more luck, and therefore they don't have to sweat and they don't have to worry and they don't have to pay attention as closely. And so it's a really good one. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Next one's a really good one. board game of the year last year, Spiel des Jahres anyway, and that is Just One.
Just One.
Just One is I don't even know if it's probably technically not even a board game, but we consider it because it comes in a box and whatever. So Just One is a game that you play kind of in a party setting. It's up to really as many players as you want.
Yeah.
But I think they recommend 6 or 7 or 8.
And only because they only send I think it's 6 tiles or something like that to write, like little mini whiteboards to write your answers on and stuff.
But you can have as many players as you want.
Absolutely. Grab paper, pen, your cell phone, anything.
Yep.
Anything at all.
And so in essence, what happens in Just One is there's a deck of cards. You pull one up. You can't look at it, but everyone else can. And there's a number 1 to 5.
Yeah.
And you just say a number, whichever number you want. Like, let's say you say number 2. Everyone looks at the number 2. You don't look at it. You put the card down. They all write a one-word clue, just like Codenames, actually. It's almost, I always call it the opposite of Codenames.
Yes.
So if you have Codenames where it's 2 people giving clues to everyone, instead it's everyone giving clues to one person.
To one person.
And so what's happening is you're just sitting there waiting. They're all writing their clues, then it has to be one word.
Let's say the word was tomato, right?
Yeah. So it's maybe the 6 people out there are writing red and fruit, not vegetable.
Not vegetable.
Fruit.
Google it.
And cherry. Maybe somebody writes cherry. Ketchup.
You know what I mean? So you can use any clue. It can even rhyme. It can, but it needs to be a one-word clue.
But it can't be a variation of the word you're trying to give. So
it can't be tomato in Spanish or
a
different language or. You know what I mean? It needs to be a clue for that word, but not the word itself.
Yeah, and so then after everyone's written theirs down, I look down. They all show them to everybody, right? And
this is the unique aspect of this game,
right? Because they show them to everybody, and then if there are duplicates, if 2 people wrote red
or fruit,
see if you wrote fruit and vegetable, then you're just confusing. But maybe that's more clear because nobody knows.
Yes, exactly.
But let's say 2 people wrote fruit. 2 people wrote fruit. Let's use fruit. Fruit goes away. They don't get that clue.
They wipe it, and then now they're using
fewer clues. So now the person guessing doesn't get fruit. Now they just get red and cherry and whatever, and they're like, oh, I don't have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, there's been games that we played where there was I think 2 clues after because everyone used the same thing, and so it's like.
So that's kind of the challenge as the clue givers is you're trying to say, okay, something unique, but something we don't also want to miss the very obvious ones, but I don't know if someone else is going to write it, so I don't know. So anyway, and you go around that, and I think you go 13 rounds. And then you kind of compare against their metrics for how the normal groups does, if you've done better or worse than average and stuff. Again, this game is so awesome to play with non-gamer friends because it's so simple.
Very simple.
You hand the person a board and you show them a word and say, come up with a clue a one-word clue that has to do with that word. And so they write it down and then they just show it. I mean, there's nothing else. You don't have to be invested. It's not this 45-minute thing. They can write their clue and then have a conversation with the person next to them. And I mean, it's just that simple.
Very, very simple.
And so this is why we recommend it. And then again, you can have as many players as you want. So you could, in essence, technically have 15 or 20 people, but likely a lot of the clues go away because people are duplicating. And so definitely check this one out. Well worth it. Man, I don't know, it's maybe $30, 20 or 30 bucks.
Yeah, it's not much.
Really awesome. Okay, we're actually moving into another word. I didn't realize we had so many word games on our list. But to move on to the 5th one.
And it's probably because of how simple a lot of word games are.
Right. They're challenging, they're engaging, but they're simple.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, the next one on the list is Boggle. Boggle's another one that has been out for decades. I mean, everyone knows Boggle. I remember growing up and seeing Boggle in my grandma's game cabinet, whatever, and thinking, I want nothing to do with that game.
Yeah.
And then I don't think I even ever played it. I've seen it until my wife's family was like, let's play Boggle. I was like, Boggle?
Why?
Let's play something other than Boggle.
Yeah.
And then we played it and I was like, man, I love Boggle. Let's go buy Boggle. And now
he actually got me into Boggle because when he came back from that trip, he's like, hey, let's play some Boggle. I'm like, what? No, we've got all these other games. Why would we play Boggle?
And then we played it, and he loved it too. And it's fun. Again, it's one of those games that exercises your mind. But in essence, what happens is you have this little kind of container.
Cage.
Yeah, cage for dice. And there's 16 dice, 4 across, 4 down. You mix it up, and on each side of the dice is different letters, random letters. Yeah. You shake it up, you work them all back into the thing, and then you take the top of the cage off, and then you just have a grid of letters.
It's like crossword, right?
Yeah.
Or search.
A word search. In
There we
essence,
go.
what you're
Word
doing is a
search.
word search. You can kind of, you don't have to stay in one line up or down or anything. You can kind of go around and create
make
words.
words.
You can't double back on
can.
letters, but you can kind of go curvy and diagonally and all kinds of stuff. But in essence, what happens is in any given round, we put it out and then everybody's making words and you're just writing them down. You have 3 minutes to write as many words as you can. At the end of those 3 minutes, you have somebody read off their list, and every time there's a duplicated word, it goes away. Boom, 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 boom. So you only get points for unique words you've come up with. So it incentivizes you to be creative, to get longer words, because the longer they are, the more points you get. And so it's just really fun. You're exercising your mind. And again, it fits the AGA model perfectly. Very easy to play as far as the rules are concerned. Very hard to play well, because if you play with somebody that's really good with words, man, they smoke you every time, because they're just like, oh yeah, well, there's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious right there. How did you not see that?
How did you not? I mean, it was so obvious.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Yeah,
you didn't
come
see
on.
That? It's right there.
How did you miss that?
And so they just, and so it challenges you. Okay, I'm going to find some really good words, and so you're really just turning your gears, trying to figure out the words to use. And really fun game. And again, another one of those cheap ones, maybe $10 online.
Yeah, if that.
And so it's a lot of fun. Looks dumb, but it isn't.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. This may be one of my top ones on this list. So the sixth one is another one that's very popular. You'll see it all over Target, Walmart, Amazon, everywhere.
Anywhere, yeah.
Wits and Wagers. Now, if you've never played Wits and Wagers, it's a betting game, and that's why it's fun. It's trivia, boring trivia game turned totally betting fun.
So I have mixed feelings about this game.
What?
Only because I have never won. Every single time I play this game, which is it's a lot of fun, I get smoked.
Hey, you need to step up your game.
I do, absolutely.
Don't go to Vegas.
Oh, no, not at all.
Until you figure out.
I will go broke.
In essence, here's what happens. And it's a trivia game that's really, really fun, because most trivia games are just, hey, here's a question. It's fun to know trivia games and stuff. But you go through 7 rounds, and somebody reads a question, some off-the-wall question that always has a numeric answer. So how many, how tall in inches is the, I don't know, Eiffel Tower? Nobody knows how tall the Eiffel Tower is
in inches,
at all. And then especially if you do it in inches, or what was some historic person's net worth at age 27?
Yes,
exactly. I don't know.
It's like, how would you even guess?
$45, right? And so then you have like someone that put $45 and someone that put $45 million. And then you put them face down, and then once everybody's guessed, you flip them over, and then you put them from smallest to biggest.
Yep.
And then everyone has their little betting chips, and they bet on which one they think is best. So they can go, hey, everyone's too high. I think it's smaller. Or if you think it's the highest, it's higher than what anyone has bet. You go to the higher one. And then they reveal the answer. And once they reveal the answer, then you go, okay, the person that was closest without going over was the winner. That person that guessed it gets some points. And then anyone who put chips on that answer gets points. And obviously, the one in the middle is at 2-to-1 odds. And then it gets higher and higher as you move out, as you get kind of on the periphery of the guesses. And so, again, really fun because it's so low-key, nobody cares, but yet you're still kind of competing. Oh, I'm going to win. Dan clearly sucks at it.
I do, but
I'm not very good at it either, honestly.
The good thing about this game is when you have someone who's like pretty knowledgeable playing as well, you just kind of follow them, what they're doing, what they're guessing, and hey.
Is that why you're always following me? That's why he's always following me.
Sure.
It's blind leading the blind on this. I'm not very good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun though.
But it really is. It's just a party. It's a party. It is a party game, obviously, and it's just a party because, again, low key. There's not much to learn. They literally read the question. You write your stupid answer that is wrong. You put it on the board. You flip them over and you say, "Well, I think that one's right."
Yeah.
Right? Again, you can be totally not present for most of it, at least mentally not present for it. And
all you have to do is listen to the question, write your answer, and then you can go back to your conversation when it all gets flipped. Put your guess and then go back. So this is a big one for non-gamer friends because of the fact that
it's one of the best.
Yeah, it is so simple. Yep. Literally, you just answer. You put any answer you want for the question, and then you put a guess.
Yep.
That's it.
So good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to our last one, Double Ditto. This is one that I don't even know where this one came from. I
don't know either.
I think my mom showed up at Christmas with all of our family. Everyone showed up together. And she showed up with it. She's like, "Hey, this is a fun game." We're like, "Okay, let's give it a try."
Absolutely.
And it really did end up being fun. And so In essence, what happens in Double Ditto is it's almost the opposite of Boggle, at least in scoring, where somebody reads off a topic, let's say delicious fruits, and you have 15 seconds to write down 2 words or 2 things on that list
that relate to the topic.
Or that relate to the topic, I should say. You're right. And so if I said delicious fruits, watermelon's definitely good, and strawberries. Then once everybody's done,
or tomato,
because back to tomatoes.
Google it.
So then you write those down, and then everybody goes around saying, okay, these are my 2, strawberries and watermelons. Does anyone have that? Okay, someone has strawberries. Great. You circle that one.
Yep.
Watermelon. Seriously, nobody has watermelon. What the heck's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You cross it off, and then you get a point for each one that's similar, as opposed to Boggle, where it's for unique. You only get points for unique answers. This one's only points.
Or just one as well.
Yeah, this one's points for if somebody else has it.
Yeah.
Now, if you have both of them in that round, you get 3 points instead of just 2. But if you only have one, you only get to 1 point. So then you do that for a number of rounds. Once you get to the end, the person with the most points wins. And so again, this is another one of those ones you could miss 3 rounds and nobody gives a flying crap. I mean, it's just nobody cares.
Not at all.
And so,
and again, you don't have to be invested at all in this game.
It's very low key.
Very low key.
I wouldn't even say it's simple. I wouldn't even say it's simple. I would say it's whatever is simpler than simple.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like there's nothing.
Pretty simple. I don't know.
Again, just like Wits and Wagers, they read it off, and you write a couple of answers, and then you
comparing
go from
to
there,
that, and
right?
then you compare with everybody.
And you're going for most common. It's not like you're trying to be creative. Like, okay, what is a dragon?
Yeah. What are
Jackfruit? Ooh, jackfruit's good. No, you go for the most common because you want points, right?
You want the
and
points.
You find in a group of people that
it's very simple.
Usually they're broad categories so that people are choosing different things all over the place, and you're like, what? Watermelon? Seriously? But people thought of other things, cantaloupe and blueberries and raspberries, right? They go all over the place. And so obviously the more people you have, the more crossover there's going to be. But I would say that's another one of the things I like so much about this game is, again, another one of those games where you can get as many players as you want. You can have 30 players around. And you could, in essence, play that way. Now it gets more complicated because you have to kind of
compare with
everybody.
All of these people. But I mean,
it's theoretically doable, and it's fun and very simple. So that's really good. Okay, so that's it. Those are the seven board games we say that are really good to play with non-gamer friends. Obviously, some of them are actual board games that you sit down around a table. Some are more party game style, but we consider all those kind of board games in our eyes. There are more though. That's only 7 of the 11. So there are definitely more we have. You can check it out. Like we mentioned before, you can either Google it or we'll annotate it
for sure. Yeah.
And I guess we'll leave it there. Subscribe, guys. If this is good content, you're enjoying it, subscribe, like, comment down below. Give us your feedback on these types of games. It warms our hearts when you guys subscribe. It just makes us happy.
Makes us smile.
I'll let you say goodbye this time.
Goodbye.
That was creepy.
That was creepy.